Hello, welcome to another episode of the Biscuit Bites with me, Tony Fielding. So I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League last night. What did I think of it? Wow!
My lord, this world will fall.
I need warriors. I'm building an alliance to defend ourselves.
They said the age of heroes would never come again.
It has to.
So as you can gather from the opening of this video, I loved it. Genuinely loved it. Now, so you know, this is a spoiler review. This is going to have all the spoilers in it. I'm going to try and talk about everything. I'm going to forget it and I'm going to ramble, but bear with me. Yeah, this was such a different beast to the 2017 release, because if you don't know it, Zack Snyder had to leave the project because his daughter committed suicide, sadly, and you know, understandably, he couldn't continue on with the filming anymore, so he stepped down. Although, depending on where you hear it, there was more to it than that. Maybe WB were happy to get rid of him because I think they lost faith with him at the time. And they brought in Joss Whedon to finish the film. And even though they said they'd honour and respect Snyder's vision, they didn't. It was they got Joss Whedon to rewrite most of the film and reshoot a lot of the film as well. So what you get is that 2-hour Frankensteinian mess of a film. There's two different styles going on in it, with Joss Whedon's trademark humour going against Snyder's style, and it just doesn't mesh at all. It's so bad. And the fact that they made Batman a bit of a joker, you know, like, oh, I'm going to have some quips, I'm going to be funny. No, just no. Having a drink. You know, it's one of those, you watch this film, you'll be going, why on earth did they get rid of Snyder and release that mess? Why didn't they just keep what they had? Because I bet you any money it would have still been better than what we got. And very quickly, this is a 4-hour film. 4 hours. So I'm going to say this now. I can't see how this would have worked in the cinema, because I don't think WB were not going to release a 4-hour film. Not in 2017, they weren't. We're used to 3-hour films, just over 3-hour films, fine. But for whatever, but you know, they would not release a 4-hour film. I'd have been fine with that. Would the general audience have been fine with it? I don't know. I think we're used to 3-hour films now. Maybe they could have been, but they just didn't have the faith in it. And it just makes you think. There was a 2.5 hour cut, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Of the Zack Snyder Justice League back in 2017 when he did it. There was a 2.5 hour cut there that was reportedly unwatchable. Or at the very least, Zack Snyder's Justice League was reported as unwatchable, and I wonder if it was to do with that potential 2.5 hour cut. If you think Batman v Superman was a poor film on the theatrical release, just by removing 30 minutes of it, and improved greatly when those 30 minutes were restored in the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman, can you imagine what it must have been like to have cut out near 90 minutes of story and character development? Because you watch Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League now, this edit of the film, I have no idea what they cut out that could keep the film cohesive. I genuinely don't know, which blows my mind. So, and I don't think, if they want to split it into two, which could have been a possibility, I have no idea in this film where the cut-off point could have been. Because there's a lot of action in this film, but where in the middle of the film you could have gone, stop here and we'll have part 2 over there. There's nowhere in the middle, I don't think, that is big enough or like wow enough to stop and continue in another film. I don't know where you would. So, you know, maybe they could have, maybe if all had gone all right, you could have refilmed a scene or two to slot in, to have it for that, to split it in two. I don't know. But yeah, we got the 4-hour film on the streaming service, so they could throw it all out there. They could just go for it, and here we have it on. It works. This flew by. This flew by. So, Jesus, if somehow, by some miracle, Zack Snyder is able to complete his Justice League tales, please please don't mess with him. Have the balls to throw it all out there, or at least direct them to the point where if you've got one film and and it's going to be 4 or more hours long, get him to put something in the middle where it could be a natural split off to be a two-parter. I don't know, because fuck me. Right. So yeah, the basic story. So the story is, you've probably seen it already. Steppenwolf comes to Earth after Superman dies because Superman's death has awoken the mother boxes. These large cubes of great power and of unknown origin, and he comes to Earth to get them, to claim their power back in the name of Darkseid, the big bad, and the League have got to come together to stop him. And during this time, Steppenwolf and Darkseid in particular are after what's called the anti-life equation, which Steppenwolf discovers is on Earth. And the anti-life equation is, if you get this formula, this power, basically, you can control the minds of every living creature in the universe and bend them to your will. So yeah, big high stakes. Big high stakes. So yeah, now this film, another criticism of Zack Snyder's Justice League is how while Marvel had before their big team of Avengers, you had a couple of solo films for Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and Hulk. So you had their solo films, and then you had the big team up. And the criticism is that, you know what, you've not had that with the DCU. You've had Superman have his own film, so then you had Batman brought in to this universe. He didn't get his own film, even though I'd say Batman v Superman is more of a Batman film. He didn't really get his own solo film. He's been thrust into the story, and Wonder Woman's been put in there, right? Wonder Woman got her own film, right? So you only had like 2 solo films, and then you are launching into the big epic trilogy of Justice League, and that was a criticism that you can't do that. Marvel have done it right. Even I was questioning, can that work? Should they have their own films? I will honestly say this right now, that they made it work. They did. As goofy as it was, that on Lex's database, he had files of Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman, and even Wonder Woman, and they had their logos. As corny as that kind of was, you got their little introduction. In this, the introductions are so fleshed out. The 4 hours are utilised really well in this film, where you get to know Cyborg, you get to see his relationship with his father and what happened to him, and it doesn't feel rushed. It feels well paced. Flash, his relationship with his father, and what's going on with his life and how he's introduced, again, paced out really well. Aquaman, how he's brought into it, and his little thing with his people under the sea, that's handled quite well. That's really, again, the timing and the pacing of these character introductions is really utilised well in this 4-hour film. And it's like, oh man, okay, yeah, you don't necessarily need them to have their own films to bring them in. Jesus, if you allow it to breathe in a film, it can work. Okay, that's great. I'm a believer. and it does work. Again, you need to give a lot of time for it to develop. And clearly in this, thanks to being allowed to to have the full 4 hours to do it, it was done very well. It was done quite well. Would it have worked better if you had individual films? I don't know. Not necessarily. I think this film shows that you didn't need to. The characters I like a lot. Flash in the last one, he annoyed me, and I think that was a lot of Joss Whedon's shitty quips. But in this one, it's like, no, Flash is not annoying. He borders on it. He borders on annoying. But they pull him back enough where it's like, no, he's not annoying. He's actually quite fun. I liked him anyway. I thought Ezra Miller did all right. He did a good job. It was not the Flash I'm used to, per se. But he did the job. He did the job well, and he seems like a young Flash. So yeah, Cyborg in this is a full character. They explore his backstory and his relationship with his father and how he became Cyborg. And you feel for him. You connect with him. When they said he was the heart of the film, it's like, yeah, okay, I kind of see why he was the heart of the film. He had a lot of good moments in this. I'm to be a bit critical. I don't know if this was intentional, but I might get some stick for saying this. But his performance sometimes felt a little bit too like overly serious, and I get his motive. I get it. I think he's conflict. So I probably need to watch it again. Like I say, I wasn't expecting that, so I need to go back and I'll honestly admit a lot of my criticisms. I probably just need to go back and rewatch the film. A lot of things I love, I might need to go back and rewatch it. So yeah, the performance I wasn't quite digging. The character and his motivation and his arc I was really into. His performance, I don't know. I'm on the fence a little bit. So again, I'll go back and watch it and I'll see what I feel. That's what you got to do sometimes. Aquaman, he was cool. He was, again, I liked his tough, I don't give a shit attitude. Slightly directionless. Didn't want to get involved, and eventually does get involved. But his interactions with the other Atlanteans and other kingdoms under the sea, well, not all of them, but some. Falca, what the hell's his name? Willem Dafoe's character, and Mira. Yeah, his interactions with them were really good. Yeah, it's just the pacing of the characters was top notch. Batman in this was badass. He was competent. He was driven. He wasn't a joke. He wasn't trying to be light-hearted. This was Batman, but he felt more like. It's almost like from Batman we see him between ultra dark and realising it's quite a nice arc where it's like it took some tragic shit for Batman to kind of realise he'd gone too far, so he managed to climb out of that hole a little bit, that darkness, to come back into the light. And I think that was the purpose of it. He was a dark and nasty Batman, the Batman we love, but he went too far. Brandon prepared to kill and all that shit. And this arc is bringing him back up. It's like, shit, mate, I went too far that way. Okay, that's cool. Again, there's purposes with it all to lead up here. It's really good. And Wonder Woman. Gosh, hell, yeah, Wonder Woman was good. Wonder Woman was badass in this. Some of the shit, again, gone are the shitty fucking jokes. Flash fall and go, I fell on your tits. Sorry, girl. Like, that painstaking humour that just doesn't fit has been all that ween crap is gone. She's badass, awesome, and again, part of the team. The whole dynamic actually works. Again, the pacing of it when they all get together as well, it didn't feel forced. I felt like, okay, there's that sense of they're all coming together and it's still early for them. It's still trying to manoeuvre each other and get a feeling of each other. It's all there. That's what I was thinking anyway. I can't speak highly enough for that, man. That was so good. Again, just getting all those characters in one film together, introducing new characters properly, getting them to team up, and it didn't drag. It didn't feel rushed. It was well paced. Yeah, you might notice I'm wearing a different t-shirt right now because there's 1 or 2 points I missed and I'm going to insert them back. So, quickly talking about Superman himself. He gets brought back to life, as it is in both films, and the scene between Whedon's version and this cut, there are differences. Definitely, there's a lot of differences. It plays out almost the same, but it's not as... Like I say, Batman's quips are gone. They're not there. Superman feels a bit more brutal. Lois Lane, why Lois Lane is there actually makes sense. Like throughout the film, she's been picking up coffee and going to that. It's the monument of Superman that you see where he's holding it up, a proper statue of him. She goes there every day to remember him because Clark Kent, they're together. She misses him, and that's where she goes to see it. And it's quite sad to see the statue in ruins from the Battle with Doomsday. But she goes there quite a lot. So one day she's finally thinking, right, I need to go back to work. She says she's going to go to the statue one more time. She even talks to the copper, gives him a coffee like she does a few times, saying one more time, and that's it. And that's when Superman's been brought back to life. So her being there makes sense. It works. It's not. I mean, you could say, convenient timing. Yeah, convenient timing, but it makes sense that she's going there a lot. So it doesn't feel as plucked out. Like, we just need to put Lois Lane in this place. It does make sense, especially to the emotional state that she's in. She misses Clark, and that's where she goes to kind of still somehow feel connected to him while she's in the city. So works. It's great. And Superman himself, it's good that he comes back and he's going to kill Batman because he's not with it. He's in attack mode. He's in defensive mode. So he's attacking the Justice League, all of them, and because he sees them as a threat. So he's not all there, but he still remembers Bruce a little bit, and probably just the dark side of it where he fought him. And that was cool. I wish we'd have had a bit more. One thing that looking at, and this on both, that I wish we'd seen Superman a bit more disorientated and being what the fuck's going on. Where he didn't have his memories, and when when Lois calms him down and they fly off to, because he recognises her. That's his love. It's like, I know you, and he flies off to the Kent farm, and he starts to get back his memories, and that's cool. And it's quite an emotional moment where Martha, his mum, comes and sees him, and that was touching. That was really nice. I was like, oh my god, my feels. But there's one bit where he goes, listen, they brought me back for a reason, Mum. I've got to go find out. Which part of me was kind of thinking, I would love to have seen him a little bit more miffed, I guess. Like, why did you bring me back? Like, what's going on? A little bit more conflicted, I guess. It would have been interesting, but it's fine. It works fine. But when I was talking about the pace is good and it works overall, I've got to admit the Superman bit is maybe a bit too quick. I'd like to have spent a bit more time with that, especially in the fight when he comes in and swoops in to save the Justice League. Superman is a lot more badass in this. He is. He's a lot more brutal, because there's one point where he's not Steppenwolf. He's over Steppenwolf. He's beating the shit out of him. He laser eyes one of his horns off completely. It's like, fuck me, dude. Wow. And yeah. I won't say much about the end. The end's epic, but go check it out. But I'd like to, and I know this is going to sound weird, it's a 4-hour film. Someone just tells me, I wish we had an extra 15 minutes, just a bit more to give Superman a bit more screen time. But, it's really good. He's really good. And that's probably just another little nitpick, a bit longer with him. But that's another little nitpick. Superman doesn't feel... if you remember Superman's first fight in Man of Steel, and I'm not talking about the initial bit where he cocks up, I mean the one where he kneels down, he puts his fist on the ground, and the stones are rising, he shoots up, and proper leaves a proper crushed ground beneath him as he flies up. Superman, he felt powerful. In this one, oddly enough, when he does his first flight again, after he comes back alive, he's got the black suit on, he bends down, it's doing all that. He shoots up, and I think they were trying to reminisce with Man of Steel, and it was great to see, but there was just something missing about the power with shooting off like that, a little bit. Again, that's a nitpick. It was a good scene otherwise, that's just a nitpick. And when he's doing his laser eyes, his heat vision, one of the things about the other two films I loved is how, I mean, by now he's probably just used to it, but you saw like the red around here, like it was almost like his entire thing was superheating, and it caused him discomfort. I reckon by that time it's just, whatever, I'm used to it. But I'd like to have just seen a little bit more of that because they were brutal. But that nitpick, again, it's just a nitpick. But Superman's reintroduction was awesome. Anyway, I'm going to spice this in somewhere in the main review, so you'll see. Anyway, yeah. I've got notes, so bear with me. No. Yeah, there's an opening scene with Wonder Woman, terrorists, and these terrorists in the bank or something. They want to blow themselves up, and the bank. I think it's a bank. I think it's a bank. Shit, I need to go back and look. Needs to blow something up, and she comes in and stops them. And these guys have hostages, so they're going to shoot the shit out of these hostages, these kids. And Wonder Woman comes bursting in, and as they're shooting them, she comes like literally running across them with her bracelets, deflecting all the bullets at such speed. But you're just going, oh wow. It's shot beautifully. She comes in, bam, 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 bam. Man, that was exhilarating. It was. I can't remember if it was done like that in the last film. I know that scene was in the last film, but I can't remember if it was shot, edited, and pasted as it was in this one, in this cut. So, maybe I need to watch the Justice League again. And then following on from that was the Amazon battle where Steppenwolf comes down because the Amazons have one of the mother boxes. He comes down to claim it, and wow, that fight was huge. And in this one, Steppenwolf he's got to earn that mother box, man. He's got to fight to get it. And there's like a horde of Amazon warriors fighting against him. Like you're talking like how many? Got them close to 100 or more. Come on, and him and his parademons are coming down. They're stopping them. They're just knocking them away. Like fuck me. It was so epic. I can't speak. Look, I'm also going to quickly say this: the action and visuals are epic as fuck. They are generally just out there. It's like heavy metal. Speaking of Steppenwolf, he looked menacing, he looked scary, and he was a threat. He was, yeah, man, I'm digging him. His motivations I was far more into than the last version. It was rewritten, because in this one he is. I'm sure it wasn't the same one. Again, I need to rewatch Justice League to make sure I've got this right. But in this one, he's got to scorch thousands of worlds to get on the good side of his glorious leader, Darkseid, who he's related to. I can't remember how. He's the uncle of Darkseid's uncle is Steppenwolf. Anyway, he's got to get back on the good graces of Darkseid, so he's got to scorch thousands of worlds to make amends for it, and he's doing all this in the name of Darkseid, the glory of Darkseid, to get back on your good graces. That's cool. That's a motivation I can dig. Yeah, and so he's determined, but when he's getting the mother boxes, he's got to fight for it. No, it's not just take that. Cheers, guys. It's like, okay, you're in my way. I'm going to fight you. And man, it's top notch. I can't say enough good about that. When it came up to the, like I say, the pace in the film was really good because you've got so many elements of it. You've got the new characters introduced. You've got the story to tell. You've got to make sure that they can all mesh and flow without it feeling rushed or slow or anything or not make sense. This film manages to balance it all. It manages to get all, to get to when you get to that final battle at the end, it all felt earned. Everything that was done with purpose. You feel that when they do beat the bad guy at the end, it feels earned. It feels satisfying if you get that sense of like, yes. And because it all made sense in the grand scheme of it. It all built up to that. So, because when I watched it last time, again, it was a whole different edit and a whole different write. But when we got to that battle scene, it just felt like a mess. I didn't give a shit. It just looked like there was no scope behind it. It felt small. Now where that final battle takes place, it's in a similar town, abandoned town. It's abandoned. And there's no fucking random family that you've got to go save, so that's good, that's fucking out there. So it's just this abandoned town, and it's just the Justice League having to fight the Parademons and Steppenwolf. Now, you think, man, that doesn't seem like it's going to be as... That just sort of feel like it's like it was in the last film. No, it generally felt big. It felt epic. It felt justified. Yeah, so that entire sequence brought a smile to face because, again, it was earned. It all built up to that and it all made sense and you followed it through. You were invested. So when it came to that bit, you loved it. And you were happy with it. So yeah, like I say, I said there were spoilers. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers away. I'm just trying to give my general thoughts on it. One of the additions was there was additional photography in this. And one of the surprise characters... I think we knew it was happening, was Martian Manhunter was coming into it. And also, Jared Leto was returning as the Joker in Nightmare Sequence. Now, this Nightmare Sequence that was filmed, tell me if I'm wrong, I think this additional Nightmare Sequence was done during this shoot, during the last year, which... yeah, because I don't think he was originally... Jared Leto was originally in Justice League. I think they just thought, let's put him in it. And they did. And they all did it for free. Now, what's amazing is how different Jared Leto's Joker is in this film compared to the Suicide Squad. No one liked him in the Suicide Squad. Although I think Jared Leto and David Ayer have said that was not the Joker we wanted to present. He would have been good in the cut I wanted. I'd love to see that cut. I'd love that to be the case. However, seeing Jared Leto as the Joker in this, right? He had no tattoos on him. He had nothing. It was just the makeup. His hair was long, so he didn't cut his hair for this. Just because I think he did it for free and whatever. Just dyed his hair, did the makeup. My God, in those few minutes that he was on screen, his interaction with Batman. Fucking stunning. That was seriously in those few minutes. That was like that's a great Joker. No, that was superb. I can't praise that enough. That I wasn't expecting to I knew he was in it. It's advertised. I was like, oh, okay, he looks good. I wonder how much of an improvement it'll be. Oh my God, it's night and day. Seriously, he was so good in that. Those few minutes were good. More than ever now, I want to see the Are You cut. I want I want to see that cut. I want to see that cut of Suicide Squad. I want to see Jared Leto's Joker fully utilised in Suicide Squad. And which brings us on to the fact that we get another extension of the Nightmare Sequence from Batman v Superman. Now, this one I found odd, and I don't know where it takes place, because in Batman v Superman, right, you don't see the other heroes. You'll see Batman in his local base, looking out onto this wasteland with the city in ruins, and we know what happens. He gets betrayed by other people, he gets captured, and Superman comes down to a tunnel with the Superman squad there, bowed down to him, comes in and he bloody pushes. But what we think is he pushes his hand right through Batman's chest. And he dies, and that's when he wakes up from that dream sequence in Batman v Superman. Well, we think it's a dream sequence. In this one, right, they're out on what looks like a freeway, motorway for you Brits, but a freeway somewhere, and they're hiding, and it's with Deathstroke. So Batman and Deathstroke are allies. Okay, makes sense in that Nightmare sequence. Okay, Mira's there, Cyborg's there, Flash is there in that future armor with his little chin fuzz. Okay, and that's where Joker is. So they've all aligned, including him and Joker. Wow. But then they hear like some kind of boom, and it's Superman's flying boom, and that's when he lands on the freeway to confront them, and you're going, what the wait, whoa, and you're going, wait there. I'm sure they mentioned something about alternate timelines. I need to rewatch it, but it's like, what? This is madness. What's going on? No, so you're left wanting more. You need to know more about that nightmare sequence. What didn't I like about the film? Okay, what I didn't like, and I think we're going on half an hour now. Shit. So what I didn't like was there's a scene where one of the scenes with Aquaman and Mira. It's where Steppenwolf comes to try and take the mother box from wherever it is under the sea. He gets it. And Aquaman comes in to try and stop him at the last minute, but they fail. He gets the mother box and he pisses off. Okay, sound. What happened then was the following dialogue between Mira and Aquaman. It just kind of like okay, Steppenwolf's gone. Aquaman, you're here. Your mother would be proud. They start talking about their family and what you should be doing. And he kind of going, hey? That felt like it was such a hard break. Let's have this side thing and we'll get back to the plot in a minute. I didn't like that. That did jar me a bit, but where clearly the film expert, what I would have done differently would have been, I would have tied that into that where, like, Christ, he's got the mother box, and that's when Aquaman's gone, it's not my business. That's when you can lead into it. You mentioned you come into that. You mentioned about the plot. Steppenwolf stole the mother box. You come into the dynamic of Aquaman and his backstory a little bit, and then you can continue at the end of how it leaves, where it's like only you can go to the land of man and get it back. So yeah, I didn't necessarily like that scene, just because it seemed so jarring and put a sudden break on that. It just seems so disconnected. Martian Manhunter's design. Now, I don't know, was that the original design intended from Snyder back in 2017, or have they redesigned him? I don't know. And yeah, he just looked weird. I wasn't keen on his look. There was something off-putting about it. Whether that's the design or the CGI used for him, I don't know. But it left a lot to be desired for me. But it is what it is. It didn't ruin the film in the slightest, but it was like doesn't work for me. It'll work for some, maybe, but it didn't work for me. And like I say, the CGI just looked off. But by the way, overall, I think the CGI was good. It was solid. There were some moments. At times, I think Steppenwolf looked a little bit too freaky. Again, I'd have to go back and rewatch it and double check where. Pay closer attention to it, but yeah, Martian Manhunter was not overly keen. He didn't play a big part in the film either, but that's fine. Whatever. They would have probably saved him they were going to save him for the future films. Also, there was a moment with Barry Allen, the Flash, when I told you about how he saved Iris near the start in his introduction to the film. She's crashed and some idiot driver crashes into her and she goes flying and Barry comes out to save her. Now early on they have a little moment where they go into a pet store. She's coming out of a pet store and he's going into a pet store. They have that little moment. Oh wow, you're cute. Yeah, you're cute. But yeah, they have that moment and he crashes and he comes out and he saves her. It was a really good scene, and I heard people say that Barry had a creepy moment. I'm like, what's the creepy moment? I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't want to know. Spoilers. All that stuff. But yeah, I think that's what they were talking about. The creepy moment. Because when he's moving fast, it's almost like time stops. And as he's under her, she's in the air, he's under her, he starts doing that with her hair, moving it. Like that, oh, I'm looking at you beautifully. And you're kind of going, I think that was meant to be charming or cute, It was a little bit creepy. It was a little bit creepy. But you know, that's fine. That's a nitpick. It was just a bit creepy. This isn't so much. This is not an absolute dislike, but it's. I liked it, but it wasn't. Okay, I'm gonna say. Let me private. Another criticism is, and I don't think it's a criticism. It's just the standard was set high, and that is the music. I'm sorry, Junkie XL score. It's an improvement on the last film. That's fine. I get that. But for me, and it was a good score. Don't get me wrong. It was a good score. I enjoyed the music. It did fit a lot of it, but it just didn't have that same epic scope that I'm used to with the Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer, and I know Junkie XL has worked on. How much of his involvement was with Man of Steel, I don't know. I know he was involved heavily in Batman v Superman. But Hans Zimmer was there. And Hans Zimmer's scores, Man of Steel is one of my favourite scores of all time, and I know it's not fair to compare, but Hans Zimmer set a tone and a quality that is not matched in most superhero films. I'd argue that Man of Steel is as good a score as you're going to get to a superhero film next to the 1978 Superman film to John Williams. Different tones for different films, but in terms of how the score represents the universes, they are like the peak of superhero scores, in my opinion. And the Junkie XL score just didn't reach those heights for me. And when you hear Superman's score, his theme, it's lacking. It does lack that there's something lacking about it, and I don't know the technicalities or the technical names of music and shit like that. I don't. I just know how I hear it and how it makes me feel. And there was something lacking. You hear Hans Zimmer produce the Man of Steel score, how the Man of Steel sound, and then you hear the Superman theme, and you hear that with Junkie XL. There's something lacking. I don't know what it is. But the score is good. The score is good. But when I'm putting on the things I didn't like, I want to make it clear that compared to the previous works, it's not as strong. So that's that. By the way, tonally as well, this is not like or dislike. This is just a point, a highlight that I want to make. That tonally, this film is definitely lighter than Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. And there's times when you look at, say, I think Gotham from the Harbour and a few other city shots, there's just something about that really does make it feel like I'm watching a graphic novel come to life. It's weird. Yeah, it was. So yeah, totally, it was lighter than Zack Snyder, than what I'm used to from Zack Snyder, which is weird, but not like ridiculously light. And I wouldn't, it just comes off a little bit more, lighter. I think I'm repeating myself now, which was odd. But it wasn't John. It still matched the overall tone of what Zack Snyder was doing. So yeah. Oh, wait there. Another criticism was, and I'm not sure, this was the end of the film. Martian Manhunter, again, looks weird. He comes down to see Bruce Wayne. This is at the end of the film. Now, when you look at Ben Affleck in this, he's not as bulked up as he was. He didn't look as bulked up as he was. So this scene, I think, was a reshoot that was done in the last few months. If anyone can correct me on that, please do. But regardless of that, this scene I did not like. I know it was kind of set up for. It was meant to be a setup and stuff, but I didn't like it. It just felt really hammed on. Bruce Wayne's reaction to Martian Manhunter coming down was just, it's just another day in the office. I'm kind of going, really? This is a fucking Martian? Is it? So, Martian, there you go. Martian Manhunter's actual introduction as Martian Manhunter was fine when he was disguised as... he was disguised as Martha Kent when he went to see Lois in the middle of the film and you find out it's Martian Manhunter. Fine. And it's, by the way, it's General Swanson. Fine. That was fine. I like that. That was just a nice little tidbit for future films. But how he was introduced at the end, I didn't like that. That felt just hammed on. It did. I think that would have been better served for the sequel. Clearly, you know, the Snyder Cut is meant to be that's it, and they probably did it as a fan wink, but I don't think it was needed. Personally, because it just felt awkward. So yeah, that's another criticism. It just felt awkward. So yeah, I wasn't keen on that, and that's actually one of the few times of an introduction for a character that I will highlight as shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that. I get why. I think I know why he did it, but yeah, I think that should have just been left. I think that should have been left on the floor, honestly. But that's just my opinion. Quick shout, because I've not mentioned this. Darkseid looked incredible. Like, holy hell. Like, they ripped him directly from the comics and the animated show. Everything you could have wanted, he was there. That was Darkseid. He looked intense, man. Looked great. And Apocalypse looked beautiful. It was like, and I'll probably get shit for this from DC fans maybe, but if you remember watching the first Thor film, when Thor's walking down the hall being greeted and cheered and there's Odin on his throne, I remember it was almost like I was looking at that, but if it was Asgard in hell. It was like, okay, it was only a small little thing of this long room, this long hall, and you can see in the distance the big jet flames of fire shooting out, and yeah, it looked like Asgard on hell. They look great. Man, and it's a shame that we might not see any more of that now. So very quickly, there's a hashtag for Restore the Snyderverse, which I am fully on board with. Especially after this film, I want more. I do. If it doesn't happen, can I move on with my life now that I've seen it? Yes. I was actually worried that watching this film, because I was starting to get worried that after watching this film, it's going to be painful in the sense of I need more now. I've watched it and I can happily say I can move on. You know, I've seen it. Would I want more? Yes. I would want more, but I've seen it now, and I could have that in my Blu-ray collection and be like, yeah, you got to tell us, at least tell some of it, and we got an idea where it could have gone. We want more, but whatever. But we want more. I would love more. I'm not saying no to more. So there's a hashtag called Restore the Snyderverse, and there's rumours going round that if this does well, then maybe WB or AT&T or someone will greenlight will bring Snyder back on board and go, let's do more. You know what? After at least the Snyder Cut happened, and it happened, who's to say it couldn't happen? I'm not gonna rely on it. I'm not going to hold out. I'm not gonna be relying on it all the time. No, but I would love it. I will be tweeting it out with my Twitter and my thingy. I'll be showing my support for it, absolutely, because I would love this. I would love a continuation of this, because I don't think, especially after this one, I don't think any DC film can match up to this now. I don't. I think Zack Snyder's got an idea where he wants to go with this. He's creating something that is very epic in scope, and the closest thing I can call this is almost like he wants to go balls to the wall, Lord of the Rings epic with this. No, something that is just grander than us all. This is like God's, Olympian style shit going on, man. This is that's where he wants to go with it, and I don't think another DC film can match onto that. It's going to want to try and be like a Marvel film. That's what some of them want. I don't want Marvel. I don't want more Marvel films. We're getting Marvel films from Marvel. I don't want that from DC. I don't want a Marvel style film. That's not meant to be a critique critique of Marvel. That's not a dig. Look, Marvel, you do you. That's great. I want this. I don't want Marvel from DC. I want something bigger. I want something different. And Zack Snyder's Justice League, his films are different. And I'd love to see more of that. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. That's cool. I personally hope we get more. And I will show my support for that. Restore the Snyderverse. But it all depends on how well this did. And hopefully it does well. But it's doing well. The critics seem to be loving it. It's bringing back a lot of people on board who were initially against it. Were at least initially against Snyder's take on it. So yeah, more support the better. I do apologise, my camera keeps flickering. That's my review. Was Zack Snyder's Justice League worth the wait? Yes. Do I want more Zack Snyder's DCEU? Yes, I do, fully. I am 100% behind his vision. I want to see where it goes. And it would be great if it was restored. But it's just a wait and see job now. See how most likely it won't happen. I've got to be real. We got the release. I know we got the Snyder cut after all the pressure, but just gotta wait and see. Keep the faith, I guess, but don't hold out for it, but push for it by all means. Let's hope we get it. It'd be great, but just one of those things. We'll wait and see. Anyway, that's enough for me. All the best, and go watch Justice League. Give them reason to make it more. Go on. Love you. Bye.